Morning, everyone. Let's give it a couple more minutes and get started. Okay, morning. Half past, let's get started. I'll start off with the one we did yesterday. It went up a bit, so sorry guys, the trading link got in a bit early there, but it's still light enough to be sent out. So the guys who weren't trading actually might just trade. Probably, well, I know getting it a better price, so that happens. Okay, sometimes you get a benefit, sometimes it works again. Anyway, so you should still be in. Didn't get to the stop because I know I'm still in, so it certainly didn't get to the stop where I used the figures from the trading room we put out. And yeah, so that's basically it. So hopefully it will come to the party and just hang on in there. Simple as that. Everyone got the signal, not just the guys who got more money. It's just the one going out today, going to Friday. Well, so we send out to everyone. Okay. Right, where can we go? Just want to have a little update on what's happening out there. I'm a regular listener to stuff like Bloomberg and other bits and pieces, and it's really what's happened at the moment, which is causing immense frustration, is a tussle between the big boys. It's really more that issue of causing this fluctuation, volatility, and then do a technical analysis or expertise on either your or my part or whatever. But the problem is now this banking crisis. We knew the Fed came out and did the 0.25, etc., but the big money is not buying fully into that. I think quintessentially the banking area is a bigger problem than inflation. So they think that there's going to be some sort of interest rates going further, maybe even being forced into catch it a bit. Because the reason we know you cut interest rates better for the banks, because the more people, more lend out and save, if you like. Okay, so that's what they're believing in, and that it turns out is the reason why we had that sharp move on the NAS against all, in theory, rationality. They're not buying into the Fed. They're not buying into Powell. They think that's a bigger situation. Now, Janet Yellen, as mentioned by Market Secretary yesterday, didn't help matters. In fact, it was quite interesting when the real came out there. We talk about Democrats looking after the working man and a bit left and all the rest of it. And she's fired up with the area that if smaller banks go under, will the deposits all be insured like the bigger guys? And she ummed and ahed and couldn't come up. And the big discussion going on, well, clearly can't. So in other words, if you've got plenty of Tom, you're a big guy, we'll look after you. If you're a small guy, you're not important enough, we won't. Put into horrible basics. And that of course, to the political enemies, gave a lot of ammunition there. But that's basically reality. So the basic problem is there's a bigger catastrophe for the banks having systematic risk in the entire world economy than inflation printing more money. And that's the tussle. So that's why we're getting very strong conflicting views. And that's why we're getting this bit of volatility on the NAS, etc. 13,000, thank goodness, did hold, and it came back during the night. But I'm going to be quite honest with you, which is nothing to do with what you see on the chart, head and shoulders, anything like that, depending on the outcome, on the expectations of the smart money, on the fundamental bias towards what's going to happen on the indices and shares. Okay. Having said that, we still got a problem. Get data feed from Germany, by the way. We still got a problem with the data feed. As you can see from the shares, look at the spread. Where's the spread here? Look at that spread there. 251 bids, 379 up. That obviously means there's a jamming in the system. So we won't be discussing shares today. A lot of people say, how long will it take? Nobody has any idea. It's like saying anything else, as long as it takes. Obviously, they're on it. Don't put more by keeping phoning up, takes them away from their job. They won't ask the calls anymore. And then they might do something silly out of stress. So left alone to get on with it, whatever the issue is. Been told some of it, but to be honest, when you go into high-tech jargon, it's over my head. It's a bit like we talk economic jargon when you just start a year. Same sort of principle. So, but the overall point is that clearly and obviously they're on it, and that's to take that for granted. How long will it take? How long is a piece of string? Nothing else I could really more add to it. It's frustrating. I got knocked out of my Netflix, which was a nice hit profit with quite a big smack. That's my problem. I'm just sharing with you because the spread all over the bloody place. That being it may, you have to take on the chin and move on. Nothing else we can do. So if you're in it, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. But clearly we won't be touching shares today. They'll be on it. If they don't get it sorted today, they'll be on over the entire weekend. The German 30 is back up and running. Okay, great. Thought that would be up and running. Maybe 10, hopefully 9. People stressing on that. Not many people. I think anybody in here is in it. So it's not really money. Is the FTSE back up? Just let these guys in. Excuse me a second. Is the FTSE back up? Yeah, FTSE's back up as well. Not that I think it really matters a lot of you because you're not doing that. I'm just saying, out of academic interest, at least they're back up and running. They've got to sort it out pretty quickly. So, as I said just now, any questions on it we can discuss. But if you're in the indices, stay with it. You got to stop. You got your strategy. See what happens. Don't suddenly think on that bit and using it, get out or trade it one way or the other. But at the moment, these two opposing factions quite frankly are out of control, and that's the reason why I get this volatility. And the other thing, as I mentioned yesterday, you guys were in this yesterday, big difference today is in the past, you get a run on the bank, people get in the car or walk or whatever, or bicycle or whatever, they get to the bank, clamor outside, they either shut their doors or let people in bits and pieces and they all scream for their deposits. Not anymore. All done online. So you a bit worried about Capitec or absolutely bank you're with. You'd have to go running down, what's going on here? Can I have my money? Blah, blah, blah. No, you just get onto your app, raise your limit, which you can do on the app, and then take the whole lot out. Where are you going to put it? Well, I assume you've got a bank somewhere else to put it. But the point is, you can do it instantly at the touch of a button. No more queuing up. And that is the major, enormous game changer in technology when fear erupts through, obviously, the financial system. So just let the gods do what they're going to do. Opinions, I've thrown out what's happening. Which way it's going to go, your guess is as good as mine. Okay, just see it happening. But whatever happens, I'm leaning towards you've got to go up for banks, more inflation. You've got to put more money. We can't have bank failure. Depositors don't get the money and then they'll react. It'll spread like wildfire, the fear. So just be aware of that. Hope that sort of makes sense. If it doesn't, discuss further. But that's basically the worry at the moment. We've got a few trades out on the opposing ones, quite interestingly. We'll start with the euro dollar because it's nearer. Some guys want to long it, some guys are short it. The guys are longed it. I was probably short. At the moment, well, I'm just saying I'm winning that one because it's come off 80 pips. So I'm put myself as a winner on that one at the moment. I've actually modified my stop. That's not where it is now. Anyway, I put into slight profit. I think it's about 108.90. I've got mine, something like that. You might want to make it a bit lower. It's up to you. But I've modified my stop. I'm going to let it run and see what happens. I will make a couple of bucks. I won't lose on it if it gets stopped out. I'll make a bit more if it runs further. We shall see. Because there's a lot of against the dollar. I mentioned yesterday the GBP USD as a possible short. I like the idea, and I'm tempted to get it myself, and I'd be correct if I had. But I felt I was a bit overexposed on the dollar, so I left it. No more reason than that. Well, I still like the trade. We'll have a look at it again in a minute if you like. CAD, CHF, somebody went for. I think it was a buy. I sat on the sidelines on that one, so I didn't have an opposite idea on that. I just sat on the sidelines. What did you get in at 67? Not much happening there. Can't say I'm that surprised. Not much happening. Slightly down, but I wouldn't say the panic job. AUD USD. That was again opposing. Well, a couple of you guys decided to want to buy it. I was pro the sell. 67.51 was the entry, and so far it's coming off. So I was in that. I modified my stop again. I can't remember what I put it to, but I put it slightly in profit, not much, just a shade below the cover of my costs. So I'm protected on that one. And for the short sellers who joined me on that one, they should have a smile if they went. NZD was another one. I didn't modify the stop on that, wasn't enough action. But 62.84, I was a sell, and the buy was the other guys. NZD USD was against the two. I got 62.81 as a sell. NZD USD. Maybe I should get this thing back. I'll do it later on in trading now. Maybe it's a little bit better now. I can maybe modify stop, but it hasn't so far. But I suggest you can look at modifying it. If you went short, obviously you went long, well, stick to strategy, do whatever. But it's at 40, call it 62.40, whatever. Makes a round figure. 81, 40 pips in profit. Yeah, if you want, you can modify that as well. If you're in it, obviously. Don't join it now, clearly, if you're in it. Hope that's all clear. I can go back over it again because it's important if you missed it. Okay. CAD. We got in, well, I got in with you guys as well. Obviously in the minus at the moment, but it's sent out this morning. Beyonce might say so, and to everybody, and it's hovering now. The reason why it came off a bit and bounced a little bit because the retail sales came out a little better than expected and found at 9. Not so much to damage the trade, but instead of getting more momentum, the downside was nicely picking up. It picked up there, but that seemed to be more the fundamental coming out, giving it a bit of a boost. But going back to daily, I did say everyone's going to say, well, hang on, in the buy zone is going up so tall. But I remember I always say it can be undervalued right down here and overvalued. You know, your million-pound house suddenly goes in a bad area. It's not going to be worth nothing. It's got to have worth something. It gets undervalued after a while. Same it keeps going up. People start getting, you're going to sell your house because it's getting overvalued. I think it's getting a little bit overvalued. And so I'm going to stick with it, as you can see here. Okay, so that's the read behind the trade. And if you took it, great, hope it works out. But that's the thinking and mythology behind it. Okay, going back to gold, a couple of people may or may not say, we didn't have a good idea. I was asked, I think, by Dirkie or Derek there, why don't we chase it up to 2,000? Couldn't get a risk reward. And I said, yes, it's very frustrating. The probability of getting there is extremely high, but it's not guaranteed. The risk you've got to take, I don't know if you understand odds in horse racing or whatever, it's odds on. Now, if you're putting 2 to 1 odds on means if you put in 2 around, it wins, you win 1. If it loses, you lose 2. So the risk reward is worth it. So several times in my trading career. Pity, it did actually come to as expected, but I wasn't on board for the reason I just did. As you can see on the daily chart, it was yesterday, it got to just around the 2,000 mark. Okay, so just going to come to the dollar CAD in a minute. So, yeah, so unfortunately couldn't take it because really the ship itself could have got a risk reward. We did get the 2,000 predicted. Can't see a big surprise there. Looks like it's falling back a bit. Now, dollar CAD short. Getting long on that one. I'm not sure we're still in it. Do we ever? I think we had a long on that before we just go too deep on that. Let these guys in just for a second. Give a ring in the background. US dollar CAD 3666 was a buy. I've got a long on that one. Don't know if that trades or anyone's out of it. Yeah, it's actually in profit. We've already got a long on that one. And the guy's probably still in it. It's actually the moment 34, 44, 46 pips in profit. So to me to turn around and say shorten it now, and you make your own mind up on that, Gerard, but I can't do that, clearly. I can't say go and buy it, guys. Now it's starting to get going in a profit. Now change your mind and sell it. If you like a sell, you can do what you like, but I'm going to stick with the trade we got out at the moment. We took it on the 20th. So it's early on the week. It was probably Monday, was it? 24th, 23rd, 23rd, yeah, I think it's Monday, yeah. It's been a bit slow, but in it, if you want, you can modify your stop. Protect yourself again on that trade. It's a winning trade at the moment, and then you're nicely protected. Okay, Mark, fair enough. But at least I hope you didn't lose. You stopped down after modifying. It usually means you modified for profit, so hopefully we'll be all right there. But yeah, don't forget, I know when you're anxious, as humans, try and keep a bit of distance between the two. I'm trying to get that right sometimes. You keep a distance, still stops you and goes the right way. It's very much, millions of sellers, buyers and sellers in the world. There's no absolute formula on it, but it's just a bit of a wavy statement saying, keep it, what do you mean by that? Well, just, I don't know. I can't give a figure. I can't say 30, 40. But maybe 40 is okay, depending on the volatility. But anyway, keep some distance. About very fair that comment, about best I come up with. Yes, it did in the end. Brent actually did. But that's fine. You made a decent profit on it. Again, that's very iffy at the moment. Will it got the TP or not? Will it continue up or pull back a bit more? Right now, I can't even give an opinion on it. I haven't the slightst clue. All I do know, the guys who modify the stock will take the money out of it. If you got it to 75 or whatever it is, or 74, I don't know where it suggested you put it, I can't remember there. You take the profit, and this very, very fundamentally anxious market out there. Be grateful that we've been able to do that. Most guys are really seeing their ass, I'll be honest with you. So from that point of view, look on the bright side. Yeah, it could do, but as I say, it's conflicting coming through on that. And the dollar did bounce in the end. I thought 1 or 2 held, and it did. It's an iffy going to the weekend as well. Remember, a lot of the big boys square their books going to the weekend. Yeah, we got that one out. We find something here we like it, we'll do it after some bloody looting. But just be a bit circumspect and don't be too disappointed. Get some guys coming in. I bought this expecting so many signals a day, whatever the guys are telling them. Line is you're a bit more sophisticated here. You learned a little bit. You realize sometimes it's better to be patient than just getting a signal for the sake of it. That couple of new guys coming up, so I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to just push one out for the hell of it. And it's a bit insane, just said. But don't worry. I mean, you're going to get a surf at them sometime, and you won't have enough money to handle them all. That's the way it is. So. We've just got to see what's going to come through into the next week. Don't forget, South Africa MPC coming up, a monetary policy committee coming up. The interest rate, most people think it's going to be up another half or so. Spare coming into that next week. Back in South Africa and under the world markets, just South Africa. I think it's coming up Wednesday or Thursday. Was it Wednesday? I can't remember. It'll come out next week. Okay. What's the view on gold? I'm bullish. Bullish on gold. Major reason I'm bullish on gold. It's nothing to do with the dollar index or the yields of the 10-year note. It's fear. What are you going to do when you're worried about the fiat currency What does fiat stand for? I've forgotten. I think it's an ancient Greek word meaning something. I've read it somewhere. I've forgotten. Anyway, the bottom line, the paper currency, it could get more inflationary going forward. If systemic banking risk is such a problem, they've got to start printing more to look after deposits and protect the system, or there might be somewhere, I don't know. Whatever we do know would hold value is something with substance, and that's gold. And that fear factor is driving it. And I think we'll continue to drive it with all the hullabaloo going out on the economic front, not just America, but worldwide at the moment. So at the moment, for that reason alone, without even looking at the dollar or the yields, I'm by the pullback from gold, yeah. Now, moving on to that, we're out of that. Don't want to chase it now, so we'll hang around on it. Hope what I'm saying, you understand, makes sense. If you disagree, it's just an opinion list. You can add to it and we can learn from both sides. We don't want to get into argument on it or fighting, I'm right, you're wrong, carry on, but actually learn constructive disagreements on it so we all add to the learning process. Okay, yeah, upside. The point is you've got to get yourself a risk reward. Will it take out 2,000 if this situation continues? Well, yes, it will, simple as that. But will it do this time around? Well, your guess is as good as mine. All I can say, not with 100% conviction on anything, but high probability is buy the pullbacks rather than trying to sell it short. Okay, where would we want to buy it? Very difficult to call. If we can get it around about these levels here, somewhere around about the 50, yes. We had a chance to 40 last time. I think we were a bit indecisive. We missed the boat. 50, if it doesn't come back to 50, you can maybe nibble it at 65, somewhere around about that on a technical basis. Let's say you want to risk 10 units, you maybe put in 5 there, and then if it comes back further, the other 5 there, you're on board, it continues up, and you can buy the other bit. If it doesn't, comes down and take it from there. I'm not sure you can come back that far, but to me, I'm not 100% convinced going to take out 2,000, certainly not this week, and it's coming to a close this week. I'd rather sit the sidelines now, and if you miss it going back again, well, so be it. But if it pulls back, we can have another look at it. Okay, that's my view. Okay, are we good on that, Tembi? Do you agree, disagree? You happy with that? Okay. As I keep saying, we've got to keep ourselves informed, not from bloody Twitter or social media. That's just, yeah, that's a bit of fun. But you've got to keep the big overall picture, and a lot of it, quite frankly, is a bit of common sense, but not in that place. You know, I mean, what is the bigger situation? I always say, like Hiroshima, killing hundreds of thousands of people, but if you didn't drop it, 2 million or 3 million Japan would have, you know, surrendered, would have been the result, which is the lesser of two evils, that sort of carry on. And the banking at the moment, I'm inclined to be fair with the smart money on that, is a lot bigger issue than continued inflation. And I think that might come back. So just be careful on that basis. Chasing it now. Japanese yen, I mentioned yesterday, I think some residual strength still in that. And whatever suggestion turned out okay. The yen did strengthen, so selling the yen wasn't the correct idea. But I was a bit scared to join the party somebody later buying the yen. And sort of right, I wasn't on board, but I sort of right, the yen did strengthen a bit. What's going to happen from here? Right, it's right down there on support. Technically speaking, a lot of guys aren't that, shall we say, filled in on the fundamentals, as millions of traders are not sort of filled in on it. They'll be poorly going on the technical, and they might start saying, hang on a minute, it's right down there in the sell zone. It could be a little bit undervalued, the dollar against the yen. So I think it'll attract a few buyers. The question is, to me, is will it attract enough to go long on it? Let's take the opposite point of view, short. It's holding that support, so the buyers are now a little bit reluctant to push it through, because when they have, the sellers will push it through, and they have the buyers have stepped in to defend it. I am going to sit in the sidelines. What goes up must come down, not if you're out of space. But in a way, you're right. It'll not go down to zero. I'm telling you right now, that ain't going to happen unless to have a nuclear war, maybe, where we just destroy the planet. But other than that, rather hopefully unlikely scenario, it's going to find some value somewhere. The point is, where is that value going to be found? Some of the smart money things set 130, some you can put down to 129. I'm not going to second guess those guys. We've got enough money to push in either direction. I'm going to sit this one out. If I miss it, also, I'm sorry, guys. If you like the buy, great. If you think it's still going to strengthen, push through, then you can work out. You know, use a calculator, do it. But I'm advising the stay out of it. The only exception, Farage, a nice one. The only exception could come back to zero. What doesn't go up doesn't come down, or whatever it is. Gas could be actually was the exception that proved the rule.
Roger, morning, sir.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
I still see the downside. Actually, I need a proper close beneath that level, which is 13,000. 13,000. 130 actually. Then I need a proper close. I will wait for 1 hour to close beneath that level. Then I will take it down to 128.853. I think I will wait for 1 hour to close.
No problem. If you get a confirmation breakdown, go with the money. I haven't given that confirmation as yet. And it could very easily come down. The momentum is very much on the strength of the yen. The dollar is very iffy, but at the moment, and that's iffy, it's difficult to pick the direction. Will it come back to 102? I don't see 100 on the index coming up. Anything could happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's going to hover around the 102 going to the weekend. So I think 1 hour close there. We shall see. I'm not convinced much is going to happen on that going into the weekend, but otherwise I agree with you. Got to go, load shedding, okay? If you can afford it, Pietro, get yourself a little router. I say I've got one as a backup. Don't use that much, but it's cost me $250 a month, and they got 50 gigs. You might not even 50 gigs, to be honest. Might get a little bit cheaper than that. But to have a backup, you can't be out of trades. You can't get into the trading room. You can't do this. You can't do that. If you're trying to make a buck out of it, simply because you're trying to save a couple of grand a month as a backup, it might be justified. And it's not just for this. I mean, got it wherever you go, you know. Anyway, whatever. Okay, good enough. Yeah, we mentioned the trades we've gone in. I think as a couple of new names just seen for the first time. So just give it a same way, copy and paste. If you don't have the dollar index we mentioned just now, or I mentioned just now, I'm copying and pasting it for you. There you are, copy, paste, and very importantly, coming up now is the economic calendar. For those who don't have it, try and make a habit of putting it on here, just in case one person there doesn't have it. You know, it takes 2 seconds, and very important. The 2 seconds to copy and paste for the reports is a pretty good damn deal, that. And you've got to know the economic fundamentals and what the dollar's doing. So keep that. And when you're trading, keep it at hand. You might miss a couple of times. I forget, and then somebody comes and says, don't forget the CPI on the Swiss francs coming up and telling me, oh, yeah, forgot about that. Look in the morning and, you know, it's top of my mind. So I have it on my other screen. I can have a quick check. So if you don't have 2 screens, minimize it, keep those handy. Okay, right. But I hope you're okay with my appraisal of what's happening and make you a better understanding how frustrating it might be. But when these two opposing fundamentals are tussling it out, you're going to get this unknown direction of volatility coming in, which makes it circumspect. Guys like Morris and that are doing short-term, quick ones, that probably meat and drink to them because they'll benefit. But for those who are not experienced enough, haven't got the time to keep an eye on it, etc., you've got no choice. Even if you've got the brains and knowledge and experience, you've got other stuff to do. You can't spend your mind watching that. Your boss, if you're working with someone, is going to come have quite a word in your ear. Or if you are the boss, they're either going to see you slacking, they might slack. You know what I mean? So trades are not sent out on a scalping basis, they're sent out with a particular view. The view at the moment is a little bit catch-22, to be honest. Like I mentioned in NAS, I'm a bit careful. If you're in, stick with it. If you're not in, I think leave it. We could get bitten here. I'm in it. I'll be honest, I'm in it. But a little bit of common sense left me. I'm not trying to make you worried here. Stick with it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not getting out of it. But I'm not encouraging new trades at the moment because of the conflicting opinions on this banking system. If the banking system wins out, what I mean by that the indication that Powell, despite what he says, is going to ease off on any more increases going to make, or even make a statement coming out that he might even look to maybe bringing back a 40%, the NAS, the shares will take off. You don't want to be on board in a short on that. But he might stick to his guns, and then after a while he'll give up, and the overbought air will kick in, it'll come off, and therefore you don't want to be in a buy. So from that conflicting area, flick the coin, take your chances, or stay in if you're in, but if you're not in, I think just give it a miss for the time being. I'm keeping the fingers crossed for personal selfish reasons. I'm short the damn thing, but I'm looking at a more open-eyed area, and my position size is such that I can afford if it goes wrong. So obviously I preach what I'm telling you to do. Don't go in too big and be circumspect. So that's the reason. Fundamentally, nothing to do looking at the chart. I would just be a little bit careful of the NAS or the Dow or any of the indices at the moment. And remember, the international ones tend to follow the Americans anyway. So if you're worried about going to the NAS or the Dow, why would you not be worried about the FTSE or the Hang Seng or the German 30? Having said the Hang Seng went up quite well, but Dow parts, rather just be circumspect. Okay. Sorry, it's not a bit sort of not great, but I mean, I'd rather you're aware of it than jumping full of positive emotion and full of positive emotions, full of the spirit, positive spirit, and it comes back and bites, rather just be, just keep an eye on things. We found trades, we've done pretty damn well. We've already got the Brent did okay. Those who took the AUD on the short did, NZD, USD short, USD CAD doing fine, Euro USD doing fine. So yeah, we're going to get them out. We're doing okay. Just bear with us. Bear with us. Yeah, it's probably, and it's not helping the data feed being screwed up either. Anyway, not much I can comment or do on that anyway. I think outside my control. Okay, GBP CAD, anything happening there? 35, it's trying to come off, that's good. Not much happening, but at least it's trying to come off. That's good. If you're in it, stay with it again. If you're not in, you join it later on. Well, you might even be a pit profit. Ooh, exciting stuff. So there we go. Okay, anything else for me to cover? Yeah, just one last thing before I forget. Right click, don't forget to save your charts, okay? Just right click on the blank part of your chart, right click, go to template, save the template, put your name in and press save. And so if you do lose your charts by whatever reason, just go to templates, pick the one you saved, and away you go. Okay, yeah, that's comment on that. Don't forget specifications. We call that the properties of the instrument, no matter which it is, right click, left click, highlight, right click, and then left click on specifications. It gives the information. Very important. You understand what the information is. No point saying, oh yes, that's great, when you have no idea what it means. You've got to know what it means. So if you don't know what it means, well, you should, before we come to trade, we've gone to a couple of classes, give a bit of background. Okay, you learn what the leverage is and how to work out leverage, contract size, and things like that. What margin is, margin calling. These essentials you should be picking up at classes before you come to the trading room. Don't mind going over them, but it is annoying to some guys on the trades and know it already, and they take the top and study it while we stop the ship to help out free charge the guys who haven't taken trouble to do a little bit of background classes. You get my point. Okay. Yeah. So the dolly. I'm still.
Hi, Roger.
Why what?
Sorry, can I quickly interrupt? The footies are out on the retail sales of Britain. Did you discuss that? Or I want to know what your view on it, please.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Retail sales slightly better than expected. 1.5 compared to SWOT, -3% was better as damage limitation was down on the year, but month on month, yeah, it is 3.3 down compared to 4.7, so it's less bad for one of a better way of putting it. So going back to, we'll go the trade we got out there. Let's do it on a shorter time frame. Let's do it on a 1 hour time frame. Came out at 9. As you see, it's coming off nicely. Had a bit of a bounce when it came out. That was the reason, but the overvalued area, which I pointed out when I was discussing this morning in our meeting, not this one. I think this is overvalued and it's coming nicely, right? Had a bit of a bounce, but the sellers came in, and at the moment they're still tussling it out a little bit, but it's not taken out these guys here and powerful enough to push it forward. I think not just me, I think quite a lot of guys out there looking at the daily think that's in the area of overvalued currency wise. Okay, so bottom line is, I think that's discounted. It gave a little bit of strength, but I'm not sure how long that's going to be continued. See, it wasn't a radical anyway. Okay, a couple more coming out. German manufacturing coming out up as 10. A few less important ones. PMI of a pound again is coming out 11.30. That could have a little bit. We'll see. Could even be in favour. See what happens. Could be slightly inflationary. Well, there's a couple of things coming out. I don't think there's anything major coming out. Just have a quick look just to check. We'll find it. US dollar, durable goods, that's a reasonable interest. Retail sales in Canada, nothing big, but of interest. Okay, I think it's a Japanese yen this morning came out. Was it this morning or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Yeah, it was this morning. Core CPI came out exactly as expected. There we are. So not much change there. Okay, good enough. Okay, so that's clear. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. Good. Yeah. So, I'm just not really scientific, but I think this is a bit overcooked as well. It probably hasn't got really confirmation. As I mentioned earlier on, I won't be taking for no other reason because I'm already in the quite heavily exposed to the dollar at the moment. It's going well, but I'm not sure I want to add to another dollar exposure. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I think there could be a chance here that might have a little bit of a breakthrough to the downside here. I'm not sure going to the weekend I should really start getting too cute with it, but I'm just chucking it out there, see what you feel. Some guys have experienced enough now to make say, it's my money, I'm going to take a chance. I think it's been overcooked and set it down. But if you want to just point it out, you can have a look at it, but I'm not sure at this stage of the game, I'm confident enough to say, hey, let's get a trade out on it. We've got one out today to everybody. Unless some real beaut comes up, which I can't see for the time being, that's probably it. Leave shares alone. As you can see, they've still got the problem of data feed, and it's hectic when this happens. Because look at the spread. Let's have a look at the Microsoft spread. 268 bid, 330 ask. That's ridiculous, as you can see. So hopefully we'll get that sorted out. If not today, but we're spending all the time. So German data guys sorting out. We've got that to do with it, basically. It's no good asking me. And they'll be on it over the weekend till it's sorted. Okay. Okay, so there we are. Okay, anything else you want to look at? Anything else you want to discuss? Anything else you feel strongly about as might be a possible trade? Euro NZD, I didn't go for it. Some guys did. I think Marix actually, Euro NZD is what you got down to sell. I mentioned, even though I didn't, I was stay on the sidelines on that one. But some people liked it, so that's why it's written down. 73.60 Euro NZD, 73.60. Well, it's about the same. Okay, so no winner lose moment, it's about the same. I think people looking at Euro CAD, can't remember what was the idea was there. I was on the sidelines on that one. I'm not sure some guys didn't want to sell it. I couldn't see enough momentum to convince me it's going to go either way from there. So I left that one as well. Don't think you guys took it. Some guys think looked at Euro CHF as well. That to me, again, that's your guess as good as mine. That euro is completely indecisive. Forget even the fundamentals on it. The market does not know that's going to bounce again or come off, leave it alone. So unfortunately, it's going to be quite a bit of that. But we are going to have times, remember, where it's famine, but are going to have times when it's feast. Keep your equity looked after for the famine times to feed you when the feast time comes about. Okay.
Mr. Rogers?
Go for it.
I noticed on my position size below the risk where it says position size, the 0.01 is highlighted red.
This one's red. I don't know. Why is that? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Tinson's the guy to do that. He does platform training, but he does quite a lot of other things. He's a bit like Mark. They speak the same language. Mark Shearer, that is. They're IT guys. He'll probably give a good answer. I don't know. I haven't seen that on mine. I'll be honest, I've never seen it on mine. So horrible answer. I'm not, don't think I'm sick, but the features of some of this stuff I'm not aware of. I'm just in it for the technology, for the benefit. In other words, the car to get me down to my daughter's wedding in Durban from Joburg, as long as the car gets me there and I know how to drive, so I won't worry about lands under the bonnet. Don't really care, to be honest. The tech guys care about that. So come to the guy to ask if you have his number or whatever. He does tech support, not tech support, sorry, platform training and that sort of thing. But it doesn't affect me. It doesn't worry me. So I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. Quite frankly, you probably got a better guess than I could come up with. Maybe Mark knows the score. He's a bit of he's an IT guy. Why that's particularly red, I don't know. It never affected me. I touched a bit of common sense from a lady there. Delete
okay, it has came off. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that might be an idea, like a reboot. Yeah.
But I should just
good point.
Click the X and then.
If you say so, Mark. But again, if you can't handle it, trust me, I won't be able to. You know? So it's not because I'm sick or whatever. For me, tech is for the benefit. Ins and outs and the details of it for guys like yourself, Mark and company, and the youngsters. What happens under the bonnet to car? I don't know. Quite frankly, as long as it works, I don't care. Well, I do care, and I'm strictly with you guys are. You've got to be able to put an order in. Obviously, those basics are absolutely vital for the rest of the details outside of that as well. If you're interested, find them out. Yeah. Okay. Right. As long as you got the damn thing and it works. And often that's the case, Anne-Marie. I found that over experience in the past. Going to play the bank statement's wrong. I remember those days. Usually find, oh no, that's right. 2 weeks ago you bought this thing, you've forgotten about it, and the bank's only pushed it through on the statement 2 weeks later. You forgot about it. And that extra amount come off. You know what I mean? It's most of the time. Unfortunately it's driver error or pilot error. You know what I'm saying? If we're proud alpha males, big egos, we don't often like to admit that. Hey, Anne-Marie. We call it fat finger in the trade, yeah. Some people might get a bit touchy about it. We're going to the physical dimension of their index finger. No, we're not. It's called fat finger. Okay, we get a bit of help from these guys there, sorry. So that's good. What I usually do, from my point of view, if you get a problem, I shout, scream, stamp your foot, and swear at it, and then it seems to come right then. So try that. Ah. That's my scientific approach. And if that fails, go and blame the government. Okay, right. Anything other than that to discuss? Yeah, I do as well. It certainly makes me feel better. Yeah. Those before, you know, I don't still do it. I remember years ago I read somewhere in Japan, they used to have in some big corporation a special room with sort of cheap old china. Like, you know, you go to plate smashing and Greek nights out. A set of these plates were just basically cheapened after they're to be broken. And they give, you know, the guy goes in there and gets a couple of balls and hurls it at China, gets rid of the stress and goes back to work. So I haven't got enough cheap china to break, so and I don't do them too bloody late to clean it up, so I'll shout and scream in frustration instead. But don't throw your laptop, yeah. That's been tempting sometimes. It's a problem, isn't it? We're so utterly and totally reliant on technology, we forget sometimes you're going to get glitches like anything else. And then you're lost and you start swearing and blaming everything else, you know. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, just going back. Right. I've sort of finished the sort of stuff I wanted to regale you with. We've looked at our charts, gone through all the basics to try to cover. We all know now with the calculator, you've got to have it. Guy Ben's in here now, but he called me up yesterday and he said what a difference it made me realize the calculator. And he could see that he went in overexposed on one of the trades and he took a bit of a smack. But he's taking on the chin and realized he went into the bottom volumes. So yeah, if you know anybody in the business here, and tell them to come to the trading room. You know what I mean? I try and push it hard, not just getting the ratings up, which it looks quite good if it does, clearly. But more to the point is trying to get sort of iron out those easily ironed outable mistakes. They're not difficult, just they weren't aware of it. Is it? Good. So obviously I'm in it, so that's good news to me. Euro USD, where here we are. What did I get in at? Where is it? Got now. 1.09, somewhere around about that. Bloody hell. What the hell's happening here? Yo, what's happening there? 10:30, no, don't know. 10:30 talking about the euros, isn't you? It's during manufacturing, it's nothing to do with the entire eurozone. That's all right. I think I'm going to modify my stop on that. Just give me a second. Get the stop on this one. Where is it now? It's 96. Where should I put it? Look at 30, all right. It's the other one, NZD, 30, it's at 75, I'll leave it there. Just trying to come off, but I got in a bit early there. The NAS gave me a bit of a shaker last night and shooting up, but leave that run, so I'll leave it run, okay. Out the way, don't like to stay all the time, it puts me off what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, thanks for the reminder on that one. Okay, didn't take the Aussie, unfortunately, I forgot. And by the time I remember to do it, the strip had sell, by the way, which is another point I want to bring up. Don't try and chase the strip sell, rather leave it or hope it rallies back to, if you're going short, to get a better price to go in. We got the AUD out at 51, I think it was about 30 or 25, and I remember, and I thought I'm not going to chase it 25, 30 pips away. And if I did, it's going a little against what I'm trying to teach you guys, teach you to do one, do the other. It's not quite right. So I left it simply because I very well missed it. Or no less I'd have been in it. Okay. Badran, not a problem. It's been great to have you here anyway. I know it's a two-person load shedding. Well, I haven't said that hasn't been too bad in comparison in the last couple of days. That's fair enough. Okay. Nicely propped in the euro. Yeah, absolutely. AUD, I missed it. I'm annoyed, but I mean, tough. I didn't want to chase it. Hindsight, maybe I should have, but I stuck to the ruling, so I'm not chasing it. 25 pips. It's just too much. Leave it. You know, it happens. That's it. But I'm glad you guys got in, and obviously modify your stop. Modify it. Okay. So
during Monday and Friday, between Monday and Friday, are the markets very risky if you have a little amount on your account?
I'm sorry, say again, on Monday, Friday, the markets, what?
Is Mondays and Friday risky if your account is not too big?
No. I want to reiterate what I'm saying to everyone, not just you on dealing. You get quieter times, I get that. When the markets open America up the street, you get more activity, then maybe a couple of hours later it settles down. Having said that, there's no such thing as bad day trade Friday, Monday, great day Wednesday. Once that gets out to the big world out there, then nobody will trade except on that Wednesday, and those ideas miscount the market. You've got to have a counterparty. Always remember, you've got to have a counterparty. If you think that's a good day, why does the other person think it's a bad day? Do you understand what I mean? So no,
Okay.
it depends on the situation. Okay,
Alright.
always remember that.
Okay, thanks.
I would say to this, I remember I was looking at some advert that came on Instagram or Facebook, I can't remember what it was, but somebody with options trading. I like options, don't have it here, mainly for hedging. You know, you just pay a premium, like an insurance premium. I'm trying to fight for it, but I don't know, deaf ears. Anyway, I like that for you. But actually trading options, and it shows you where the guy puts in, it's just going up and up in his favor or whatever, see how easy you can make money on options. Because forgetting the fact, if that's so easy to make money on the up, there's got to be someone who's losing. There's got to be a counterparty. So it's so easy that somebody who knows absolutely nothing can make that easily. I'd like to meet the person who's so unbelievably thick and stupid to be losing, because where are you getting that guy from? So just bear that in mind. Once at some rate, sometimes you come in where you get all these junk emails saying something for nothing, something free, something's easy. Just trust me, the radar goes off. And I'm not going to spend good money advertising something so easy to make money, a lot of it. I'll be too busy enjoying doing it myself. Why would I? I might do it for my wife or my mother or my kids. I don't know you, George. I don't know you, Mary. Why am I spending good money to help you? And then even then, I'll dilute the possibility of the upside of the market. I'll keep it to myself. Just always remember, something for nothing, radar goes. And that, unfortunately, seems to catch the people that should handle it the least, the people with the less knowledge, the less money, and can afford to lose the least. All of those guys get trapped into that psychologically. They want something for nothing because they've got very little to give us. Just be careful on that basis, okay?
My concern was on Fridays the markets are closing, so if maybe you'll be like making a profit and then the market close, then maybe on Monday it's a different story.
Yeah, a lot of people do a sort of squaring their books going the weekend, especially sometimes highly volatile things that they might be in. I remember the old Aussie 40 or the top, you'll recall, the top 40 index in the South Africa one. That's even more volatile than the NAS. And usually the strict rule is don't keep it overnight, never mind over the weekend, because the bomb could go off in the Union Building or something. But a lot of them run. The stuff we've got, I run. I'm not going to close because it's Friday. I might modify my stops to protect if it's a nice thing profit, sure. Or if you're going to sleep overnight and you can't modify, you might want to put a trading stop in. I don't bother that. That's just me. You can if you want. But I'm not going to close my NAS or AUD USD just because it's Friday. You know what I mean? I'll let it run. And I haven't had so far a major problem with that.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Good. Nothing 100% get the odd glitch. I'm starting to get a favor. Thank goodness I didn't, you know. Now, I don't know if I should just close. Stop was already on break even. So I just noticed that now after that question. It doesn't make sense. The 5-minute window. Let's saw the chat line on there. Just see what you say now. Valid TP. What's this now? Delete your window start again. Happens to resign. Delete. Thank you. Get as well summarize and do and recess and already works. It's fine. Delete calendar start again. Yes, it happens. My valid TP. Yeah, I've sometimes seen me do it on here. Try it again. Knock it off and put it up again. Not actually take it off the screen, but just do that. You give me a hassle. Open it up. Still bugging around. I'll just close it and try and open it up again. Sometimes it takes 2 seconds. See any more on that? Drop off. Yeah, okay, fair enough. AUD USD, what about it? That's pretty nice, modify your stop. Want to figure, I'll work something out for you. Yeah. What's it now? AUD USD 51. It's nearly 100 pips in profit. Maybe run it down to maybe, I don't know, 67 or 66.90. Maybe that's a bit close. Maybe 67, something like that. I don't know. Whatever you do, make sure you don't lose it. That's what I'll ask you. Dollar strengthening, not quite sure why, but there it is. Okay. Let's go back to dollar CAD. See, a lot of the guys, I'm not in that one, but a lot of guys here, I don't want to be overexposed in one currency, and dollar CAD, NZD, AUD, USD, Euro dollar, maybe the pound dollar. If something goes wrong with the dollar and you're going the wrong way, you're not diversified. Dollar CAD, don't have to worry about it now, by the way, because it's up now 34, 64, 73 pips. So if you're in the dollar CAD, obviously do the normal story we discussed a million times. Modify, take out the risk from the trade by putting it better than entry. Not too close, but at least you're going to make a profit. So you're making a profit in all the dollar trades that, sorry about this, Mark, my suggestion, and didn't go wrong. Sorry about that. Okay. What sounds CAD JPC, what it was called, CAD CAD, GBP-CAD, I mean. It's trying to come right. It's trying to. It's down at 30. Obviously, I'm still in a minus, but at least it's trying to come right. Turn out the trade idea. The guy's got a better price. Shame, one of those things. Anyway, see how that goes. Right. Okay. Absolutely wonderfully interesting. I can regale you with. No, sorry. No, can't think of anything. Any big sporting matches coming up? I see Ireland's now #1 in rugby and France #2, Kiwis #3. Bit of a change around. I remember 20, 30 years ago, the Northern Hemisphere were just match practice for the Springboks, well, for the Southern Hemisphere, but not anymore, eh? Clearly, Keone's not interested about Irish rugby. Okay, get back to business. You'd be a harsh taskmaster as a boss there, Keone. Right. Probably like Mark, he's a nice guy on here, but I bet he's a right tyrant with his employees at work, eh? I've heard, I believe as well, I read it in the newspaper. Let's get back to serious one. CAD JPY, you're looking at CAD JPY? 30-minute one, okay? Absolutely correct, yeah. Not quite sure what you want to do with this, Cody. Yeah, I empathize too much with them and they take advantage. I'm a bit like that. Let's see. What do you want to do with this? Anything? What do you read? Behaving similarly. Well, okay. Looks like CAD still weakening a bit, which I don't want it to happen. I want to strengthen because I'm buying the CAD against the pound, if you know what I mean. EUR CAD. Just get the data feed there. Euro's weakening, CAD strengthening there. What was the other one again? CAD JPY. Oh, that's different. JPY is quite strong. That's not too bad. The problem with that, yeah. I think it's not so much the CAD, it's just the Japanese yen. There's a lot of money rushing to the yen. If it strengthens much more, I think the government, the Bank of Japan might do some intervention. They've done that before, they'll do it again. They can't handle too strong a yen. Okay, LeBron, hope you're learning stuff. You gotta go. Have a great weekend and all that. Thanks. That's good chat to you as well. I hope you're benefiting. Good stuff. Good. You have to pay me, set accolades. Massage my ego. Absolutely. Tell her that, eh, about opening up to money-making idea of mine. Opening up a male ego massage parlor where you go in, the pretty girls say, "Oh, you are the most handsome guy in the world. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, you're so witty. Pay him a couple of bucks, and you've had a good ego massage." I reckon that'd be a good money-making idea. Trouble is, I'm not a pretty young girl. Okay, some observation. Okay, fine. You like that, Brian?
Roger, may I ask a question, please?
Of course you can. Get me back to sanity, please, Anne-Marie.
I haven't ever used the trailing stop loss. Tell me how many points or percentage or dollars or whatever do you put the trailing stop loss above your profit?
Yeah, I know the trading, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's the $64 million question. As you know, currencies behave different volatilities at different times. NAS is more. So it's not a set, it's not a set 20 pip or points. They've got points on there. You can customize the points. So remember to multiply by 10. So in other words, if it says 20, it's not 20 pips, it's 20 points. That's 2 pips.
Okay.
Then you get stopped out. I can't give you a figure saying 20, depends situation. I mean, I wouldn't modify the Dow or the NAS 20 pips. You get my point, because then I get stopped out. If it's fairly quiet, you might make 20, 25 pips. If it's a NAS, you've got to start. Once you're modifying, you don't have to use the 200 pip example, but I'd have to use the 100. And even then, you get disappointed. It's doing brilliantly, stops you out, and wake up in the morning, your trailing stop kicked in, it jumped up 100, and now it's off 400, and you get the idea. But I think it's probably preferentially, I personally, I mean, I'm stupid, can't bother, I don't know, whatever. But it probably is wise to use it when you go to sleep. I personally prefer when I'm awake, just to modify. It takes 2 seconds. Not if you're out and about, you keep, you know, I've got a little router now, so I'm always on the internet. I just grab it, bang, 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 done on the phone, if you get the point. But if you're asleep, it might be. But I think Mark will back me up on that, because it's happened to him where he's put it in, train stopped, protected, kicked in, and then the train went back in the right direction. He's not on board. There's no hidden 100% on it. All I can say, for peace of mind, if you're in a profit, you can either modify to protect manually or let it run with some sort of trading stop. And that might be not a bad idea, because you're now going to put the stop loss in it. You got in, it's a nice profit, and you put the stop loss in, you're going short. So you put it, make the stop loss in at 94.8, not 80, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then it's doing well, and then stops you out in the middle of the night, and you made 5 rand. If you had the trading stop loss, you might have made 50 rand, because it continues to modify on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's certainly got its use. I don't bother. That's just me. I don't say it's right. I'm being stupid on this. But I think going to bed at night, probably actually more think about it, probably a good idea. Now the question comes, as you say, what amount? You're going to have to figure that out for yourself. Just use your own common sense, your own intelligence to say, this is the Dow, very volatile, maybe 100 pips, which is 1,000 points. Remember to multiply by 10. Or CHF JPY, it's not that volatile, so I'll make that maybe 25. So you put in 250. You just have to make the choice. You're sufficiently knowledgeable now. Clearly, you've got quite a bit of common sense. And I'm sure your husband's got a bit of common sense. Chat up together, make an idea and say, let's put the trading stop in. You agree on 25, but then put your 250 in and leave it at that. Yeah, that's about best.
So it actually depends on which trade you're busy with. And I see that Mark says the trading stop only works while your MT5 is open and connected. So that's a few things that one should take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely, connected, whatever. But the more important part, it depends on the volatility at the time of the instrument. A yardstick rule of thumb is the NAS is more volatile than the euro dollar. But then sometimes, you know, we did a straddle trade. The euro dollar can react on the fundamental information more wildly, let's say, the NAS. Depends on the situation. That's out of your control. But you'll just know that NZD CHF at the moment, I'm looking at the past history of the last 24 hours. I think 25 pips should be fine. NAS, look at that. Maybe make that 100 pips. Just use a bit of common sense on that basis. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Roger.
Good stuff. Yeah, I do. Sorry, I'm going back to Gerard. Yeah, I do, to be honest. Yeah. I personally think the reason why it's come off from 1850 is simply because it was profit taking. It was overcooked or undervalued on the ZAR, if you like. So as a result, it's come off. Let's put there, you'll get a picture. That's just, it's a little bit, you know, you might have a bad economy, like we said before. You might suddenly find too many bad people moving your area. You had a falling house price. But your house still got to go to something. And 20 at this stage, unless a bomb goes off or suddenly go into total junk bond or get a riots in the street, like total anarchy, then of course we'll get a 20, 21, 22. But outside that, I think most people start, well, hang on a minute, the rand's not great, but 18.6. Yeah, hang on, that's a bit over the top. So yeah, I do. We might get a better price if we missed it. I was hoping to look at 18 out for about it. Yeah, and nearly got there. I was hoping to get about 18, and I'll be honest, I forgot about it. I'm not making excuses. I did. I was looking maybe by around 18. Looks like it's bounced from there. Bit of indecision going to the weekend. Highly volatile, remember, guys. Does take a much bigger margin, so you've got to have much more free margin to do it. And as I say, the spread is wide. Don't forget, check it out. Left click, right click, specification, and you go to the spread, it's 25 pips. Okay. For some reason, 2 decimal points in the thing, somewhere, I don't know why. It says 5 digits. Let's call it here, it's got 7. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for some reason. So ignore these 2 here, scout to 5. Okay. Yeah, so 25 pips. So you've got to take that into account. I personally am not going to chase it now. I would have probably gone for 18, but I missed that shit. Doing it now, I'm not against it. I'm not going to personally do it, but I think we could get some upside from it. It's a bit of a range trade. If you do like it and you can afford it and you understand what I'm being on about, maybe stop just down there, gives you about 196. Take it up there, gives you 380. Yeah, get a risk reward. Maybe just below this low here, take a TP up there and take your chances, but don't go in big. That's all I'm asking. And the dollar seems to be trying to strengthen as we speak. But it's bottom of the range. Yeah, there's a chance of upside there. I wouldn't be selling, I'd be buying it, but I personally think it's, I'll leave it. That's just me. So if you want to do it, there you are. We will, by the way, never send out to the guys out there as a trading idea ever at the dollar rank, because too many guys don't understand that it's an exotic, widespread, all the rest of it, and we don't want them to. We're protecting them from themselves. But if you want to do it in trading room, because you know more, discuss more, we see the bigger picture we can. Okay, GBP JPY. Probably a sell if we miss the ship. That's the main bottom line. Yeah, that's my worry on that one. Clearly a sell, pound pretty weak. Japan, as we know, is pretty strong. Do we want to be chasing it here? Right on resistance, a few buyers have come in. Is that going to be a little bit of maybe a short covering bounce, people taking profit bounce, but sell it down, maybe we can get a better price, absolutely. The trouble is, the better price where I'm again is a hell of a long way away. If you start looking at 161, we're talking 150 pips away. So that's a hell of a bounce. I'm not sure it's going to materialize. Maybe a confirmed breakthrough, as Solly mentioned, that sort of area there. We'll get a decent candle, maybe an hour or two candle. Or if you can get a better price, sell it down. But sell's the name of the game, but I'm not sure I'll be going in now. I'll try and get a better entry. Okay. Oh, long, sorry, long no, not long no. I think good chance you might bounce to Maris. So you want to take maybe a 20, 30 pip jump. Good luck to you. It might happen. I'm not going to go long. I'd rather wait for a higher price and set it down or a break. Okay. To buy as a strategy going forward, buying the pound, selling the yen is not correct. What is correct is going long, is expecting a short covering bounce. And if you want to grab a few of those, you can. To you. That's up to you. If it gets to 160, it probably hold and come off again. I might think it's shorting at 160, to be honest. Yes, there, I wouldn't be buying it. I'll probably think I'll wait for a confirmation. Starts coming off there, I'll probably sell it. I ain't going long in it, put it that way. 162. I have no idea, Morris, what will drive that up to 162. There's got to be some bank intervention on the yen, where they start selling the yen to weaken it because it's getting overcooked. I can't predict that. Or something comes up a lot better than expected in the United Kingdom. I can't see that happening, but if it does, that will change it. Other than that, extreme unexpected. I don't see where you're going to get 162 from at this stage. Might do in a few months' time, but not right now. I wouldn't do it. Okay, great, Pete. Hope you're doing okay. If you're not, don't tell me. If you are, tell me. You're silent. I know you're not doing it. But anyway, whatever. Have a good weekend. Must admit, this can't get going. I thought we were going to get some traction a moment or two ago. She was coming off nicely just now. Hey, 10:15 is coming off nicely. Now it's bounced. Very little traction at the moment. We'll see. Anyway, there you are. Okay. All good. There's a few new names there. Rudazili, are you good there? Don't forget the guys being left out here. Hope you're all right there, Israel. Good to have you. Ken, of course, you know the score. That's fine. Fairly new, Madiri. I think you're okay. Merrill and Tomby. All okay? Any questions? Tuso, yep. Getting the idea. Remember, you mentioned yesterday about the calculator. You've got it now. You see how valuable it is. That's great. Chepo, don't want you guys feeling left out, is what I'm saying. Any questions, any issues anyone discuss? Don't ask me, is the gold price going to be at 2,000 next time? I don't know. Anything else I can try and help out? Anything you're not sure of? Anyone go over? You all got my number, haven't you? Anyone not got my number? I'll just pop it to you. Rather than WhatsApp, quicker and easier. Okay. If you haven't got it, doesn't matter, obviously. But please keep it on point in case there's other calls coming in. But whatever. But there you are. At least I remember, just as now I've said before, licensed to advise, but I don't do platform training. I don't discuss stock market college. I'll put in the right direction. If you have a problem there, somebody says I still owe some money. Can I do something about it? Or I'll just transfer it to council, whatever. It's nothing to do with me. Anything technical, refer you to Mark or technical support. Just joking, Mark. Technical support, pretend to do a trading, fine. Anything to do with another account or any issues at that level, you can go to your account manager. They're what we call intermediaries, and they'll sort that out. Trading ideas, whether they say or not, they shouldn't be. They're not allowed to, but if they do, they do. It's up to them. I'm not going to drop them in it. But from a license point of view, they're not supposed to. So trading signals, ideas, unfortunately, got to be regulated, the FSCA, the SA regulated body for that. So trading ideas, you know, WhatsApp, and if I can help, I can help. I can't, we'll say that. I can't. But hope we're all good on that. You know, you've got a go-to number. That's the major thing. So if you don't know where, I can at least point you in the right direction. That's the major point. If I didn't respond, so maybe I was out. I very rarely don't respond because I've got it on my laptop, the WhatsApp. So if I didn't, all I can say, I apologize. It's bloody bad manners of mine. But because I'm quite strong with that, I hate it when people don't call back and say it again. But we're all human, miss it a couple of times. But I do respond. If you didn't, I don't know. But the best thing you can do is, and Tomby, I'm pretty sure I have your number. I don't know. But if I don't, just make sure, say, hi, this is Tomby. That won't do. I'll say, great, I'm Tomby, and you're a trademan, etc. But I've got to look you up. And I can't put on Tomby into the system. It won't answer. It's got to give full names. But then again, it might have a middle name on the system, and you don't give that to me, or you give me the middle name, it doesn't have the system. So the best thing you can do is just WhatsApp me and just give me your real account number. I'll set it up so next time I know who it is, and I can refer to it. You'll have the number set, the account number saved. So as soon as you call up, I quickly go to my admin side and I check on your account, and then I can advise you accordingly. But if it hadn't got back to where it is, it might have been in the middle of the night, whatever. I tend to go to bed fairly early and wake up fairly early. But my apologies, absolutely. So just say, hi, it's Tomby here, 196425. After that's set up, you just say, don't even say it's Tomby, the name will come up automatically, as you know. And you say, I'm a little bit worried about my FTSE position, what's happening or whatever, and I'll hopefully respond. But yeah, I'm quite strict on that for my own standard values and getting back on that and timelessly but it's the middle of the night, and I have to be honest, I sometimes have forgotten. All I can do on that is apologise. Okay, and Rick, you too, of course, and your good husband. Look after him, eh? Keep him well fed. Okay. Other guys, you're okay? So please don't feel left out. It's up to you to join in. If you're happy, you're taking notes, you're picking information up as you go along, it's great. Any doubts, just give me a shout. And if I can answer it quickly, fine. If it takes full on trading, I'll just have to point you to go back to maybe do another class of it. Okay. All right, I've run out of stuff to say, but I'm quite happy if any questions, just on basically anything, stuff. Okay, knowledge, good stuff. I think most are up to date with things like economic calendar, calculator's got my number now, save the charts, specifications, those normal ones, which don't take too long, but are very, very important. I think you all now know what a margin is, means a deposit, because your leverage means you're borrowing the money. Swap fees are just the interest paid daily on the borrowed money, like with any interest you borrow money. Make sure, as I say, keep free in your account. If you don't, you will be margin called, means your position will be closed for you, whether you like it or not. Okay, remember, margin deposit is collateral. Take away the collateral, the loan will be called in. Same sort of principle.
Mr. Rogers?
Go for it, yeah, please, go for it.
Do you have any insight on what's going on between America and China? Because I just picked up some news, but I didn't follow up that well. And what could happen maybe to the currency due to the friction that's happening around them?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not that informed. I'll maybe look it up after this meeting, I don't know.
Okay.
What I can say is the overall picture is, I've mentioned many times, it's not the house price goes up, it's the actual the currency itself that goes down. America over a period of time were buying lots of lovely goods from China and printing more and more currency to pay for it. So China's going on, they're giving their good hard money products away for diminishing value, not worthless, but value currency. So they're now buying up more assets, and they hold a large amount of paper bonds. In other words, remember, America's a debtor nation, they own more than they're actually making. And China's one of the big, they're holding a lot of those bonds, treasury bonds, etc. So any friction between the two, I would be economically, I'd be probably tilting towards China. And remember, they don't have a democracy there where they're going to go and sit at the table 16 hours where everyone pushes their narrative through and never comes to a decision. Bloated bureaucracy like that. They've got a democracy, but they can make hard and fast decisions, and to hell with you, like it or not. I don't have to answer the people. America does. So if there's a bit of a friction, that probably causes a little bit more on the dollar than the yuan.
All right.
But otherwise, that's just the overall picture. I haven't actually checked that. I'll check the news after this trading room to see if there's anything happening there. You probably know a bit more than me in the moment on that.
Okay, cool, sir.
Anyway, thanks for the question. Okay, anything else? And you guys want to ask anything else? Some of the guys there who haven't had much interaction. Here's your chance. Anything you want to ask? We're here for everybody, remember. It's a democracy. All votes count. No? All good? It's a bit early in 11, so I can wrap it up or continue. It's up to you. Marius, Mark, anybody? Tommy, anything else? You want to look at something? All good? You're okay, Tommy, good. Yeah, I apologize again. Please keep in contact, Tommy. No problem. It wasn't me being rude, it was just me being forgetful. Trust me. Thanks, Brian. Is that right? Wow. What the hell? Oh, I get it now. Thank you. Yeah, the fuss between the Russian situation in Ukraine and it looks like China's taking the Ruskies' side, a bit like South Africa in a way, and they're threatening them with NATO. I don't know the full details, so I'm probably talking rubbish here, but I think that's saber rattling, but we should see. And we can't enforce NATO, or why should they? Because remember, Ukraine is not part of NATO. I think it will be saber rattle, we'll see. But remember, I don't know how we can vote. I haven't seen the article, but I can invoke NATO when Ukraine is not part of it. But then again, they still invaded Iraq, and even the UN resolution said no. International law said no, they went in anyway. And the excuse was, we're worried about terrorism and of course, imaginary weapons of mass destruction. And quite honestly, they're paying by far the biggest bulk to overpriced euro bunch of bloody charlatans, in my opinion. And I thought, if I'm paying this money, I get a right to break the bloody rules. But anyway, that's another story. So, but technically speaking, Ukraine is not a part of NATO. They can send money, but they can't be sending troops. Using NATO, using Ukraine as an example. That was the whole problem. That's why one of the reasons they got invaded quickly, because they were talking Ukraine becoming part of NATO. And then, of course, Russia being powerless. So that's why they stepped in. So I think it's saber rattling. I'm afraid to say, Mark, I don't blame America. That's a human being. You got that power, you do. Once you got amazing power, then the rules don't belong to you anymore. They belong to everybody else. I think that's more, not so many America, I think it's a human conditioning. For sure, Morris. Yeah, GBP JPY. Okay, sorry. GBP JPY is shorted. Thought it was something else. Sorry, Mark. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. I agree with the short, totally. Just wondering if that's going to break through. It might hover. I think there'll be some indecisiveness going in. What's the time now? Nearly halfway through the day, going into the weekend. I think you might get lower volumes. I'm not sure you're going to get enough momentum to short it through there. You can, but it might, things will hover a bit. I'm not going to do it anyway. I think it's going to hover. It's not going to be much momentum. It could jump up a bit. I like the short, but I think maybe try and get a better price. If it does break through, maybe see what happens there. I tell you what, I'll add to that. Pretty close to 159. If it gets there, I think we could get a bit of a bounce, to be honest. Profit-taking bounce. Okay. Yeah, well, not ours. That's international. It's not my fault or your fault. It's international. Dollar CAD. Ooh, I think so. Yeah, I won't be chasing that now. It should be in it. And we've got a trade out here. Maybe didn't take it. I won't be chasing it now. No. No, guys already in it and trading with us. So we're all right, Jack. But modify your stop and enjoy the run. Chasing it now. I'm not sure about that. Well, we all are, Morris. The problem is, I tell you something, guys, the more you know, the more you realize. It means the more nervous you are. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, you know. That's why youngsters don't know, do all sorts of cracking things. When you're older, you're a bit more nervous. You've been there, got the t-shirt, and you realize some of the downside of it. So, yeah, can't blame you on that. And if the margin's not right, well, then you can answer your question. Takes a decision from you. Okay, guys. Well, yeah, that's about it. Unless there's anything else, should we wrap it up? A great weekend and catch you guys on Monday. Okay, cheers. Thanks very much. We'll got
Cheers,
the number.
everyone.
Cheers, pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers, guys.